Billions are missing. Why is this guy walking around?
You brought up Bernie Madoff. He was arrested the day after, he confessed.
Right.
Sam Bankman-Fried has confessed in his Twitter feed and everything else. Charles, I don't know, but there's two things you can do it. What I would do is you arrest now. There's enough information under 18 USC 1343. That's the wire fraud statute. There's enough for the fraud statute. He went around looking like crypto savior, pretending to be crypto savior, and he goes to BlockFi and says, I'll give you this loan, but you have to deposit your client money in my FTX account. And then of course, he steals that money to run his Ponzi hedge fund. So if I were in charge, I'd have had him arrested, introduce him to a 3x5 cell, remind him of what Russ Ulbricht, who did much less with Silk Road, is serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
I'm hearing more and more about that. People are really it's a story we all kind of forgot about. And I want to bring you back and talk more specifically about that. But there's just so many headlines. This interview with Sam Bankman-Fried, if you had a chance to ask him any questions right now, what do you want to hear? What hasn't he blurted out yet that we need to know?
Great question. The first thing, I get him to agree that the user agreement specified that the funds were client-only funds. And so he then commandeered those funds illegally and then sent them to Alameda. That needs to be brought up. Second, he had a back door. That back door allowed him to conceal the transfers from FTX to Alameda. But he claims, Charles, that he doesn't know how to code.
Yeah.
So who did it? Who did it? You need to
know
ask
what though?
questions.
I'm not an architect or no construction, but I know how to open a door. So he didn't have to code it, right? I mean, you see the schematic of how this company was built. It looks like it was built from day one to pull off these kind of thefts. So Janet Yellen speaking today, she doesn't like crypto. You know that. Right. This is a great excuse for regulators to come down hard on it. On top of that, we're seeing, I saw this tweet with Mr. Well, and it really caught my attention. 8 Congress people tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX back in March. 5 of 8 received donations from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. It bothers me. I've interviewed some of these folks, and I've always thought they were on the side of crypto investors. And with all these millions floating around, I don't know what to think anymore.
Well, it's a great question, but let's put this in context. I've read that letter, Charles. It doesn't mention FTX.
Okay.
And what was happening is that you had Gary Gensler had sent hundreds of voluntary requests for information. When the crypto companies gave information, they then got an investigative subpoena. And then after that, they got sued like Ripple, like Library, like Dragon Chain, take BlockFi. Nothing's happened, yet he cost them $100 million. They haven't done any registration. And guess what, Charles? The SEC is the second largest creditor in the BlockFi bankruptcy.
That's amazing.
How about that?
That's absolutely amazing.
And as far as Janet Yellen, she says that this is a Lehman-like situation for crypto. Charles, the only reason or way that it'll be like Lehman if no one goes to jail. That's the only way. This is not a Lehman moment in crypto. This is a Bernie Madoff moment in crypto. This is a Theranos moment in crypto. That's what this is. So let's make the right comparisons.
Great stuff, John.
Appreciate it, John.
Thank you very much.
Today, people aren't leaving their money in the banks. They are using crypto to hold their cash. That's why the government is panicking, since they can't steal our money anymore. But at the same time, what SBF Sam did is unforgivable, because several people invested their hard-earned money in crypto and stored it in FTX. Then Sam decided to play around with their money and lost it all. I don't think this guy should see the light of day ever again, unless it's through prison bars. We now have the perfect opportunity for the replacement of Bitcoin with another stronger and more reliable crypto that should usher in the future of cryptocurrency. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then let's roll that intro and get started. As always, welcome to Money Side, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get updates when we drop new videos. And don't forget to smash that like button, and you can always leave a comment or a question in the section below.
Some are calling his aggressive approach to regulating the cryptocurrency industry. Firing back in a Fox Business op-ed, lawyer John Deaton, who's representing more than 70,000 XRP investors in a class action lawsuit against the SEC. John Deaton joins me now with Charlie Gasparino, who's been closely following the SEC's ongoing lawsuit with the crypto company Ripple. Charlie, what you got?
I don't have a lot. He has. She said 75. She said 75,000, and then she corrected the 70. Is it 75,000?
72,500.
You're right. Almost the first time. So
we'll settle in the middle.
So you represent the XRP holders.
I do.
You don't. You're not carrying any water for Ripple.
Absolutely not.
This is your case. that you believe that the XRP shareholders have been like collateral damage, roadkill, so to speak. And that's I think the point that you made pretty well in the column, comparing them to the oranges in the Hawley case. Now we will not get into that because that will take the entire show, and the Howey case. Howey case is what determines if the SEC has the authority to go after you because you didn't file, like they're saying Ripple and XRP did, right? You're saying that you're stretching the boundaries. Last I heard, I think the last time you were on the show, the SEC was trying to get you thrown off the case. They don't like you. So where does that sit?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Lauren. Thank you. Meeting you. Good to meet you. Listen, 72,500 people from over 142 countries around the world have joined together. These are the people that Gary Gensler swore to protect. And instead of talking to us and reaching out to us, he filed a motion, his SEC lawyers filed a motion to revoke our standing in court, which means revoke our amicus status, and personally had me thrown off the court,
so
out of the case. Well, the judge ignored their silly request. Basically, I'm still allowed to participate. But you want to know who Gary Gensler does have time for? He's met Vanguard 7 times since being SEC chair. Why is that relevant? Because Vanguard manages 90% of his 120 million fortune. So he can meet them, but not us. Who's he protecting?
It's a good quote. We tried to get him on. By the way, before he issued the op-ed to the Wall Street Journal, we were asked him to do the op-ed. I guess he said, "Screw you," and I'll just do it in the Wall Street Journal. Be that as it may, but we'll give you the floor. Why doesn't he have standing to do what he's doing? He claims that all these things are sold, so they're securities, and once it's a rotten piece of fruit, it does extend to the people that holds them. And if XRP is a security because of the way Ripple issued it to finance its platform, just like you would issue a stock or a bond, they did not register with the SEC that XRP is in circulation illegally, allegedly. And then you pick it up, and 72,000 people pick it up, but you're holding an illegal security. Why is that? What's wrong with that analysis? Because that's what I think he's saying.
Because in the Howey case you referred, they said that the sales contract and the service contract and the scheme is the investment contract. That's the security, not the underlying asset. The oranges or the land tract,
which Howey was about selling orange groves, right? And whether that instituted a contract. And
the oranges were never the securities. The underlying asset is not. XRP is digital code. That's all it is, an alphanumeric code. It's software.
So what you're essentially saying is Ripple is guilty, not the XRP holders. Or Ripple could be guilty.
Well, what I'm saying is that in 76 years, when you look at all the SEC cases coming from the Howey case, there's never been a case where there's been absolutely no privity between the purchaser and the buyer. What I'm saying is SEC, if you can prove the case against Ripple, go at it. Do your job. But when you say that a person who purchases it on Coinbase, who's never heard of the company Ripple, and has no idea who Brad Garlinghouse is, when you're claiming that token 10 years later is an unregistered security with Ripple, now you've stretched that Howey case beyond recognition.
It's like saying all the oranges in the groves that were illegal contracts, the oranges are illegal.
It's like saying a grocer, imagine a grocer is like a digital exchange, like a Coinbase. When you go in and buy the orange, they're saying you now hold an unregistered security.
Even though the grove that produced the orange may be illegal.
And if that person sold it. So here's the thing to understand. Bitcoin has been used as an unregistered security. Doesn't make Bitcoin an unregistered security. Chinchillas, whiskey, oranges, beavers, all of them have been held. Yes, beavers. Like it's the scheme of how you use it. Condos have been used as any commodity.
I'm getting the wrap here, John, but I want to just real quick, fill us in. Where's the case stand? Where's it going?
Well, the thing to know is that Gensler's request to have me thrown off, that's not going anywhere. We're still participating.
Is it going to court?
It's going to court. There's been summary judgment filings that are happening. There's experts that are being challenged. Will it get done by the end of the year? No, it's not going to get done unless there's a settlement. It won't be done.
So we're going to get you back on soon, I guess. I hope so. Back to you.
Till then, John, Charlie, thank you. Let's get in another market check.
John, let me start with you because I got a bunch of notes here. I want to make sure. There was one thing that caught your attention from the SEC Division of Enforcement when he sort of said, hey, the non-compliance, these exchanges, these trading platforms that are not in compliance, he really shot across the bow And initially I was just thinking that was for offshore only, but you say no. That applies to big names like Coinbase and others.
Absolutely. That is, Gary Gensler keeps saying, come in and talk to us, right? But that is a direct message to Kraken, Coinbase, the largest U.S. publicly traded exchange. And I want to take note of something. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, last year complained that he couldn't get a meeting with Gary Gensler, and he runs the largest publicly traded exchange in the United States, yet Sam Bankman-Fried could. And so this is the problem we have, Charles. We have regulation by enforcement, something that Lisa and I could probably agree on. In the meantime, while he's meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried, he's got the library case, non-fraud, the Ripple case, non-fraud, a Dragon Chain, non-fraud, right. Kim Kardashian. Like, he's pursuing these non-fraud cases, right, but not telling Coinbase which exchange, which cryptos might be security.
And otherwise known as low-hanging fruit. Lisa, what was the biggest takeaway for you?
You know, I'm really puzzled by, sorry, that's my dog, but I'm puzzled again by why they had to do this charge at this time. It's early. There are a lot of people who are involved in this case. There are lots of things that have to be tied up, and the receiver trustee and the bankruptcy has not gotten through it all.
Right.
What was the big rush? Were we afraid that Sam Bankman-Fried was going to go to Russia or someplace we don't have an extradition treaty? He was just sitting there in the Bahamas. I am still puzzled by this.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Usually the government waits.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody, these are charges. I'm a defense attorney, and John and I think we would agree completely. I agree with you completely that, you know, this is regulation by enforcement, but that's not really fair to, you know, folks. These are charges.
Well, certainly the American public wanted to hear him in front of Congress today, big time, and then this could have happened yesterday or even after that. Thank you both very much. Really.
Gary Gensler has been avoiding conversations that could potentially put in the spotlight, and that's a dangerous game to play. If you've noticed, John Deaton has pointed out all of the times where Gary Gensler has intentionally avoided giving regulatory clarity, which should be his topmost priority, but it isn't. In essence, Gary Gensler is the problem in the crypto world, and that's what we all need to accept. The only reason Sam got this far is because he has a direct connection to Gensler. In fact, they actually met and discussed ways he could legally manipulate the system to his favor, and that's what caused CZ to panic. If it was not for the connection between Gary and SBF, I doubt this crypto exchange could reach that far. Plus, let's be honest, who would trust a bunch of kids living in the Bahamas to oversee their cash? These guys clearly had no background to support what they were doing. The only thing that really worked for them was their connections and how they manipulated the press. Thankfully, SBF is already behind bars on numerous charges, but my worry is whether or not he will remain there long enough for the crypto world to recover. It's crystal clear that Bitcoin can't rule the crypto world, and now we're only left with XRP. Ethereum also has several issues, but most regulatory bodies avoid it because it's too big to touch. But that's about to change once we get regulatory clarity. The only crypto that is likely to survive is XRP because it's been in court with the SEC for 2 years, for so long, without any legal basis. Now that we might soon see the collapse of stablecoins and the start of a new age, XRP will be at the top of this list. It's now the perfect time to stock up on your XRPs and wait for it to go to the moon, guys. Hurry up before this coin sets sail and leaves you behind. As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can let us know always what you think in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't be here without you. Don't forget to like this video and please click on that subscribe button below. And be sure to turn on notifications. That way you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again. We will see you on the next Money Side.